The notification will not be received until the following week. Gravity is the force that attracts two bodies toward one another. Many different conferences offer opportunities for volunteer work. You are required to attend lectures and write weekly reports. Stories often contain messages in our life. Population has a sharp rise in the recent 20 years. Figures could be established through rigorous establishment. Social psychology is concerned with the understanding of human behaviors. Computers used to be larger than they are now. Houses were built for workers near the factories. Our faculty includes 5 libraries in the university. This is the first example of a modern and professional army. It is important to plan your study time carefully. Muscle cells bring parts of the body closer together. The best student has an opportunity to require a scholarship. Contemporary critics dismissed his idea as eccentric.
Kindness is very important nowadays. Students must wear protective clothing provided in the medical laboratory. Some people work for wages on a daily basis. The timetable for next term will be available next week. The student union hosts a variety of social events. Mixture is defined as the compound of chemically separate parts. Most of the lectures begin promptly, so do not be late. Currently, the growth of the company is unpredictable. Optional tutorials are offered in the final week of a term. It is a debate about the value of knowledge.
We encourage students to complete their applications before the deadline.
Tuition fees will vary according to the fields of study. There is no ideal debate on this topic. Any game must be properly elaborated.
While some people regard it as reforming zeal, others regard it as recklessness.
A good academic essay should have a clear argument.
I can't hand in my dissertation this week.
His analysis study appears to be based on the false premise.
One student representative will be selected from each class.
Any gains from the property must be promptly allocated.
Basketball was created in 1891 by a physician and physical education instructor. A lot of agricultural workers came to the East End to look for alternative work. All students and staff have the access to printers and scanners. During that time, people had large families as an insurance against some children loss.
The university will seek a colossal renovation to the faint, empty theater.
The subject is complex and difficult to explain.
Many businesses near the campus offer students discounts.
Archaeologists are astonished by unexpected previously overlooked foundations.
The Earth's atmosphere is primarily composed of oxygen and nitrogen gases. Practical experience is a vital part of legal training. Food that contains antibiotics provides little or no nutritional value.
Scientists have found all parts of science.
Technology has changed the media we both used and studied.
You will be tested online.
The posters are on display at the larger lecture theater. Graduates from this course generally find jobs in insurance industry.
Students are required to have an undergraduate degree in biology to be enrolled in this course. The Study Center in the library has all the latest technologies. The blue whale is the largest animal that ever lived. New materials and techniques are changing the style of architecture. Industries now bring more job opportunities than agriculture and fishing combined. The study of anthropology can help us to learn society today. You do not need to have specialist knowledge to enjoy this book. A world-renowned expert of financial management will give a guest lecture. There is an accounting assignment for finance students. Foods containing overabundant calories supply little or no nutritional value. All industries consist of systems of inputs, processes, outputs, and feedback. The tutorial timetable can be found on the course website. Members should make concentrated contributions to associated operating funds. Many experts think that the world climate is changing. Plants are the living things that can grow in land or in water. Government department was doing some crucial work on climate change. Years of training are required to become a medical specialist. A series of lectures which were shown to us in economics have been recorded. Medical researchers have focused on the causes of diseases and treatments. The key witnesses to the event have conflicting recollections. Rivers provide habitats and migration pathways for numerous aquatic species. The digital revolution has changed the way we read. He wrote poetry and plays as well as scientific papers. The economic predictions turned out to be incorrect. Rising sea temperature is a sign of climate change. He was regarded as the foremost economist at that time. The deadline of this assignment is tomorrow. Many university lectures can now be viewed on the internet. Nutrition plays a key role in athletic performance. When the roots of a plant failed, foliage suffers. A new collection of articles has just been published. Measures must be taken to prevent unemployment rate from increasing. Calculators allow us to add numbers without making mistakes. The disease that was serious has now been eradicated. There is no fixed career path for a qualified journalist. An effective business manager is always open to new ideas. Imported packages are likely to be used in many computers. Your ideas are sophisticated in seminars and tutorials. Linguistics is the scientific study and analysis of language. The history department is very active in research. Exotic activities can help students develop more talents.
The Commissioner will apportion the funds among all the sovereignties.
You will be tested via continuous assessment and examinations. Please return the reference book to the correct position on the shelf. Extracurricular activities can help students to develop more talents.
Audition of the university choir will be on hold until the next week.
Students must attend the safety course before entering the engineering workshop. The farmers need to adapt to the changes of the climate. The digital camera has some advantages over traditional film. The department works closely with its partners in the business community. The orchestra will be led by a visiting conductor. Relying on natural ability will not get you far on science.
A visit to the designed museum is of greatly value.
There will be a chemistry test in the classroom next week. Physical health can be improved by regular training. Honey can be used as food and health product. Psychologists say what we have experienced influences our behaviors. Renovation work is currently being undertaken throughout the whole building. The course involves pure and applied mathematics. New developments in manufacturing are constantly changing the way we live. Designers need to keep up with the social trend. Academic libraries across the world are steadily incorporating social media. Many diseases on the list have been eradicated. Trees benefit the city by absorbing water running off-road. We should never underestimate the power of creative design. Marine environment has been destroyed by pollution and unsustainable development. Neuroscience is a compound of completely separate parts. The year when the ship of artifacts was wrecked interested historians. Our study program equips students with central skills for university. Americans have progressively defined the process of plant growth and reproductive development in quantitative terms. Speed is defined as how quickly an object or a person moves. Artists need to make their works both original and accessible. Plants are able to continue growing throughout their lives. You must hand in your essays by midday on Friday. Tribes vied with each other to build up monolithic statues.
The stock market cracked and had repercussions throughout the world.
The castle was designed to intimidate both local people and the enemies.
International exchanges formed the important part of our study program.
Sugar is a compound which consists of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen.
Muscles make parts of the body close together.
You need to put these books on the table over there. Social psychology has been considered by human behavior. Journalism faces the crisis in the light of the digital revolution.
Being bilingual does not mean having the ability to analyze the language.
A series of the observations were carried out in the classroom.
The student shop has a range of stationery.
Food has become a political issue in the world. Too much information may be avoided by good research design.
The area has a number of underwater habitats and species. Late applications are not accepted under any circumstances.
Students should leave their bags on the tables by the door. The collapse of the housing market has triggered recessions throughout the world.
Momentum is defined as the combination of mass and velocity. The North Campus car park could be closed on Sunday. Graphs are often useful for geographical research.
Animal and plant cells have a number of structures in common.
The library will be closed for staff training tomorrow morning.
Your ideas are discussed depending on your seminar or tutorial. The bus to London will leave 10 minutes later than expected. We need to answer security questions if we want to reset the password.
Salt is produced from the seawater or extracted from the ground.
They developed a unique approach to training their employees.
The new media has transcended the traditional national boundaries.
We cannot consider an increase in price at this stage.
I thought it was thrown in a small meeting room.
Students find true or false questions harder than short answers. The history of the university is a long and interesting one. The garden behind the university is open to the public in summer. Resources and materials are on hold at the library reference desk.
Astronauts are using light years to measure the distance in space.
Listening is the key to succeeding in this course. Human beings compete with other living things for resources and space.
Strong liner is used to measure distance and baseline.
Everyone must evacuate the premises during the fire drill.
A laptop has been found at the biology lab. The opening hours of the library are reduced during summer. The reception staff provide advice on renting private accommodation.
A group meeting will be held tomorrow in the library conference room.
Universities should invest in new technologies designed for learning.
Tutors should set a clear goal at the start of the class. Time and distance are used to calculate speed. Our facilities include 5 items in the university. The poster of this play is hung in the large lecture theater. The department has a higher than normal proportion of postgraduate students. The cooperator operates a continuous assessment. Students who study overseas can significantly improve work chances.
Strangely, people are simultaneously impressed by and skeptical of statistics.
Research shows the exercising makes us feel better. Protective clothing must always be worn in the laboratory. Manufacturing now brings more people in than agriculture and fishing combined.
Continuing students will be sent necessary application forms.
Consumer confidence tends to increase as the economy expands. You were able to contact a number of research subjects. You need to hand in the essay next semester. You can use a laptop during the lecture. Good nutrition is crucial to the general health and vitality. More graduate training is often needed after the university study is finished.
His appointment as Minister of Culture was seen as a demotion.
You can contact all your tutors by email. We study science to understand and appreciate the world around us. We are able to work in a team. University fees are expected to increase next year.
Understanding how to use the library will save your time.
Traffic is the main cause of air pollution in many cities. This morning's lecture on economic policy has been canceled. There was a prize for the best student of the presentation. There is a welcome party for all new students each term. There is a pharmacy on campus near the bookstore. There are some doubts about whether these events actually occurred. There are many branches of medical studies. There are different types of governments in the world. Theory and training are required to become a medical specialist. The ways in which people communicate are constantly changing. The vocabulary that has peculiar meanings is called jargon. The synopsis contains the most important information. The rising temperature is changing the wildlife population. The qualification will be assessed by using a conference criterion approach. The professor took a year off to work on her book. The nation achieved prosperity by opening its ports for trade. The museum is closed on Thursday mornings every month. The most popular courses still have a few places left. The lecture tomorrow will discuss the educational policy in the United States. The key difference between courses is the kind of assessment. The island is located at the south end of the bay. The introduction is an important component of a good presentation. The first assignment is due on the 14th of September. The faculty staff are very approachable, helpful, and extremely friendly. The exam system has been upgraded due to professional exams. The essay will be published once the research is finished. The director of the gallery was grateful for the anonymous donation. The designers will complete the plan later today.
The other book isn't thorough, but it's more insightful. Timetables for the new term will be available next week. The marketing budget has doubled since the beginning of the year. The plight of wildlife has been ignored by local developers.
The University Theater Group will be performing in the concert hall. The dance department stages elaborated performances each semester. The course helps students to improve their pronunciation skills. The city's founders created a set of rules that became laws. The chemistry building is located near the entrance of the campus. The campus tour will help you to get familiar with the teaching facilities. The author's early works are less philosophical and more experimental. The assessment of this course will begin next week. The artists tied with the conservative politicians earned the roles of critics. The application process may take longer than expected. The aerial photographs were promptly registered for thorough evaluation. The ability to work with fellow students cannot be stressed enough. Studies show there is a positive correlation between two variables. Students who attempted to go to the conference must register now. Students were instructed to submit their assignments by Friday. Students are encouraged to monitor their own attendance. Students are advised to use multiple methods for this project. Some people regarded this as eyewash, whereas some people asked for the status of their complaints and actions taken. Some people believe that education should be free for all. Some people argue that education is not that important. She began by giving an outline of the previous lecture. Sea levels are expected to rise during the next century. Scientists are always asking the government for more money. Scientific beneficiary to space exploration is frequently questioned. Remember, the prestigious section has strict eligibility criteria.
The article considers the leisure habits of teenagers in rural areas.
The curriculum needed to be adjusted for the current development.
Please note, submission deadlines are only negotiable in exceptional circumstances. Peer group pressure has a great effect on young people. Packaging is very important to attract the attention of a buyer. Our professor is hosting the Business Development Conference. Newspapers are supported primarily by the sale of advertising space. Most scientists believe that climate change threatens lives on the Earth. Most of these features were part of the previous system. Most of the theories were similar, but a few critics disagreed. Many birds migrate to warmer areas for the winter. It was hard to anticipate how all the different characters would react. It may not mean that it is possible to solve the problem easily. In this language course, we focus on fluency and accuracy. Important details from the argument are missing in the summary. If you need additional help, please visit the University Resources Center. If finance is a cause of concern, scholarships may be available. I will come back to this in a moment. I don't think it's possible to solve the problem easily.
Nurses can specialize in clinical work and management.
The bar chart provides useful means of data comparison. The extent of advertising for children is open to much debate. Students should have awareness of how the business develops globally.
The theme of the instrumental work exhibits more of a demure, compositional style. Students requiring an extension should apply sooner rather than later.
We have sophisticated ways to study in brain action.
Student representatives will be visiting classes with voting forms.
He landed his job at a very prestigious law firm.
Lectures are the oldest and the most formal teaching method at universities. The archaeologist's new discoveries stand out in previously overlooked foundations. Education and training provide important skills for the labor force. Daily practice can build confidence and improve skills. Convincing evidence to support this theory is hard to obtain. Consumer confidence has a direct influence on sales. Clinical placement in nursing prepares students for professional practice. Climate change is now an acceptable phenomenon among a group of reputable scientists. Before submitting your dissertation, your advisor must approve your application. And in that regard, as well as in other regards, it stands as an important contribution. All the educational reforms have been inadequately implemented. All students are expected to attend 10 lab sessions per semester. A very basic feature of computing is counting and calculating. A person's educational level is closely related to his economic background. A good architectural structure should be usable, durable, and beautiful. A celebrated theory is still the source of great controversy.
The economic strength of early Roman Republic will be examined. Today, a number of students have volunteer jobs.
All dissertations must be accompanied with a submission form.
Certain scientific principles must be learned verbally or by a logical deduction.
An architect is required of problem-solving skills and an eye of design.
Please confirm that you have received the textbook.
A new article is published regarding the university last week.